guy we did a lot of work on, scouts through the fall, and then Senior Bowl, and through the combine, and then brought Walt in here for a 30 visit. Impressed us the whole way. The tape spoke for itself. Violent, disruptive, high motor, tenacious, 3-down player. Hard to find those guys that can affect the pocket from the interior of the formation. So really excited to add Walt, and excited to get him in here tomorrow and get him to meet some of our players and meet the team. So with that, open it up to you guys.
Yeah, he's got a huge heart. It was awesome in the pre-draft process, getting to know him. And I don't know what narratives are out there or anything like that. I make up my own mind. And this guy's a Cardinal, 1,000%. So I'm glad we got to add him.
Disruption. And, I think, we've talked about it a lot. We wanted to get have a more disruptive defensive unit. We think we've added players that can help us do that. And again, like when we find players that can affect the middle of the pocket, it puts a lot of stress on the offense. And so Walter is another guy that we think can do that, can help us do that, and we're really excited to add him to our team. Yeah, honestly, I don't think there was a ton of surprises. Like we were just talking before we came down here. There really wasn't a ton of like out of nowhere picks tonight. I think now they may have went a little bit, maybe a pick or two early, or different order, but the names really tonight it really wasn't that much surprising, like who the actual names were. Yeah, pretty quiet. We had some teams check in early on, and then as things kind of went along, it really there really wasn't much tonight, Tyler. And so that's how it goes, and I think that first year, like, there was a ton of action, and then last year a little bit, and then tonight, now we'll see what tomorrow brings. But I think it just it's different teams are motivated, and the picks came off and their boards fell a certain way. There just wasn't a lot of motivation for anybody to move up.
He's got you guys will love meeting him. He's got a quiet confidence about him. That's loud confidence, but I was just talking with Mark. He's different from the guys that we've taken in the first round since we've been here. He's quiet. You got to get to know him. He's a little shy at times. And then, our scouts will be like, you should go to this practice and see what it looks like. And then you turn on a game tape and you see what it looks like. And you're like, wow, like you might think one thing of the personality. And it's a little bit different. But like I said, why he fits as a Cardinal, he's got a huge heart. He cares about his teammates and he wants to maximize himself. And when you show us that from all our different ways that we find that information, sign him up. Well, I'll let Monti talk about that. Because he obviously knows the board and the league better than I do, right? And every pick, I was kind of, okay. That was kind of today. The perfect world was getting in my car and having Walter Nolen on our team. So
yeah, and Donnie, it's just it's one of those things where you set the board, and it's. Our board's got all the positions across the top, and then you stack, and sometimes there's one position, a guy's sticking out and a little higher, and it's really, you sit there and wait, and you peel cards off as their names get read, and then you sit and wait till it's your turn, and hopefully you got one that's standing up there that's high. So we were excited that Walter made it to us. Yeah, we're excited. We were actually just we saw the last pick there come across the board at 32. Kansas City, I think, took Simmons, right, the tackle from Ohio State. So we were actually counting numbers. We're at 47, so we're 14 picks out, and we were counting numbers of guys that we like, and so we feel good about where we're at tomorrow. And then we'll see what happens. We'll see if there's phone calls tomorrow or chance to move up, move back. I mean, those are all possibilities. So, we feel good about it. The way the board looks right now, we think we'll be able to add 2 good players tomorrow.